It was Halloween night in Minneapolis, 2002. Cold, crowded, loud. The kind of night when everybody's dressed up, drinking, laughing, and trying to forget the real world for a few hours. Chris Jenkins wasn't just another college kid partying that night. He was a 21-year-old business student at the University of Minnesota. Athletic, responsible, lacrosse team captain. He wasn't known for doing dumb stuff or getting too wasted. He was the kind of guy who had his life lined up. Chris went out that night wearing a Native American-style costume. He and his friends decided to hit a downtown bar called the Lone Tree Bar and Grill. The place was packed wall to wall, people dancing, shouting, drinking like Halloween was some kind of competition. Chris was having fun, not out of control, not sloppy, just vibing. But something happened inside the bar. A drink spilled, a misunderstanding. A security guard got involved, and instead of figuring it out, the guard decided Chris was out. The bouncer kicked him out of the bar into the cold night air. No jacket, no wallet, no phone. Just his Halloween costume in freezing Minnesota weather. Witnesses said Chris didn't argue. He just walked away. Calm, focused, like he was trying to get home. Then Chris vanished. Hours passed. Friends tried calling. Family started to worry. The next morning, panic kicked in. This wasn't like him. He didn't disappear. He didn't run away. Something felt wrong. Police told the family to wait. They suggested he might have wandered off drunk. Maybe he'd show up. Maybe he crashed at someone's place. The usual blanket excuses. But Chris didn't appear. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Zero signs, no body, no clues, no leads. Minneapolis winter rolled in hard. Ice covered the river, snow buried everything. Hope started slipping, but his family refused to quit. They pushed for answers. They organized searches. Posters went up. Volunteers combed the area. Nothing. 4 long months later, February 2003, the river ice finally melted. And that's when everything changed. A body floated to the surface near the 3rd Avenue Bridge. It was Chris. His parents were heartbroken but determined. They demanded a real investigation. But instead of looking deeper, police called it an accidental drowning. They said Chris probably got drunk, wandered to the river, slipped, and fell. Case closed, but the family didn't buy it. Not for a second. There were too many weird details. Chris's body was found face up. Most drowning victims are found face down. His arms were crossed over his chest, almost like he had been posed. His clothes were neat, not ripped, not torn, not showing signs of a fall. His shoes were still on tight. His costume didn't look like someone who stumbled through rocks or brush. And the strangest part, there wasn't much water in his lungs, not enough to match a normal drowning. It looked like he hadn't been breathing when he went in. His family hired a private investigator. The PI looked at the physical evidence, the location, and the condition of the body. He believed Chris was taken somewhere, held, possibly harmed, and then placed in the river later. The river wasn't the crime scene. It was the dump site. Meanwhile, the police department stuck with the accident story. They said alcohol, cold weather, bad luck, case closed. But then another twist hit the case. A man sitting in jail for an unrelated crime made a statement. He claimed someone he knew admitted involvement in Chris's death. He described a scenario that didn't match an accident at all. It sounded like a setup, a confrontation, a forced situation. The tip wasn't enough to make an arrest, but it was enough to bother detectives. The Jenkins family pushed harder. They met with officials. They demanded a full review. They fought for every inch of truth. Finally, after 4 years of pressure, something cracked. In 2006, the Minneapolis Police Department officially reclassified Chris Jenkins' death as a homicide. The police chief stood in front of cameras and admitted the case had been mishandled. He said they were wrong to call it an accident. He said new evidence changed everything. But the public never got to see that evidence. They never revealed what exactly turned the case into a murder. No suspect was named. No arrest was made. No detailed explanation was offered. And just like that, the case hit a wall again. Still, people started connecting dots. Chris wasn't the only young college guy who disappeared from a bar and ended up in a river around that time. There were dozens of similar cases across the Midwest, all young men, all near bars, all missing for days or months, all found in water. Some detectives floated a theory about a group targeting young men, dumping bodies in rivers, leaving smiley-face graffiti near some sites. The theory was argued, dismissed, debated, and dragged across every true crime forum online. Some called it nonsense. Some said it explained everything. But Chris Jenkins became one of the most talked about cases connected to that pattern. Even today, people debate what really happened to him. Was it a random attack, a kidnapping, a targeted assault, a cover-up involving the bar security, a larger group operating in the shadows, or something else entirely? No one knows. What we do know is this. Chris Jenkins walked out of a crowded bar on Halloween night. He walked into a city full of people dressed as monsters. And somewhere in those streets, the real monster found him. His story became a turning point for families demanding to be heard when their missing loved ones are dismissed as drunk accidents. His parents became advocates. They pushed for reforms. They helped other families. They refused to let their son become just another cold case. To this day, Chris's death remains officially classified as a homicide. But the killer has never been identified. The full truth has never come out. And the mystery of what really happened to him on that Halloween night still hangs over Minneapolis like a shadow. Some stories fade with time. This one never did, because the facts never lined up, the answers never came, and the silence never felt accidental. This is the story of Chris Jenkins, a student, an athlete, a son, a victim of something that never should have happened, a case that refuses to die, a mystery that still haunts the river where he was found. And until the full truth comes out, one question never goes away. Who took Chris Jenkins, and why?